Tonight, a man in Hopedale faces first-degree murder charges after an attack at a home on Friday. That story and
taking care of the caregivers. The seniors advocate says this province must do better.
This province is only operating with so many seniors living at home because of the family caregivers in this province. Be clear, there are so many, and most of them are seniors and many of them are women.
We'll have more later in the show.
Cove. It's been called Canada's smallest town with a population of 4.
There was a trailer court with 10 or 12 trailers. There was a rec center over there with 2 lanes of curling and 2 lanes of bowling and a movie theater. There was a hospital down the end of the pond there.
Now it'll have a population of 0. That story tonight on Here and Now.
We came here when the closing was done, actually, before we purchased it and made a bid. Everyone cried. So that showed us that, you know what, this place means something to their heart.
This is home. This is where the cooking and the cleaning and the baking bread and everything else will happen.
Finding a little bit of home at the campground. For many, May 24 marks the unofficial start of summer.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to a special 30-minute edition of Here and Now on your Victoria Day long weekend. We begin in Labrador. A 27-year-old man from Hopedale has been charged with first-degree murder as well as attempted murder. RCMP officers were called to a home on Friday evening and say they arrived to find a deceased man with injuries, quote, indicative of foul play. A second victim was found nearby with serious injuries. The community was told to shelter in place. That was before police arrested Michael Tagliana a short time later. RCMP say the individuals were known to one another. Tagliana remains in custody. Well, in other news, the seniors advocate says the province's long-term care and personal care home system is broken and needs a full redesign. One of Susan Walsh's recommendations calls for the creation of a Newfoundland and Labrador caregivers network. Here now's Mark Quinn has more.
The provincial government has said repeatedly that it wants to make it possible for more seniors to age in their own homes. The seniors advocate says that's only happening because many seniors have family caregivers. But she says those caregivers aren't getting the support they need.
This province is only operating with so many seniors living at home because of the family caregivers in this province. Be clear, there are so many, and most of them are seniors and many of them are women, are taking care of seniors in their, their loved one in their own home. And right now, there's no support. They can't get access to any quality mental health services, just support, someone to talk to.
Walsh is calling on the new provincial seniors department to establish and financially support a provincial caregivers network.
Many provinces in this country have provincial caregiver networks. The concept of these is to provide emotional support, programs and services information, navigation for caregivers, and it needs to be appropriately financially resourced. It can't just be put on the back of a community organization with no resources.
I think that's a good idea.
The minister responsible for seniors knows firsthand that caregiving can be difficult.
I know as a caregiver for seniors in the past, just on personal experience, that having supports in place for you to support your family member is critical, because if you try to do it on your own, I'm going to say you're going to doom for failure. You're going to be doomed for exhaustion and mental burnout, if not physical burnout.
Abbott says he too wants to see the Liberal government establish a caregivers network.
That to me makes sense, and that's something I'll start working on with the seniors community and the caregiver community. And that's not a big money issue, that's just practical, providing those supports.
Minister Abbott says he'll work with the health department, but it remains to be seen what responsibilities, powers, and money the newly minted seniors department will have. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, John Hogan is spending his 24th of May weekend in the Netherlands at a World Hydrogen Summit. While there, the Premier signed an agreement with the Port of Amsterdam to collaborate on green hydrogen issues and discuss potential projects. The Premier's office says this agreement mirrors an existing partnership with the Port of Rotterdam. The province aims to explore the Netherlands and other northwestern European markets as potential buyers and identify any legal or financial barriers that may stand in the way. Well, Canada's smallest town is a town no more. Tilt Cove on the Bayvert Peninsula used to be bustling with a school, a rec centre, a movie theatre and hospital. But as the mayor tells our Troy Turner, the last two couples in the community are packing up. Though walking away isn't easy.
It's the daily reminders of seclusion and isolation, feeding birds on his front deck, exploring the area in his recreational vehicle, seals catching their next meal. Life for the mayor of Tilt Cove is idyllic, but that's about to change.
I figured I was going to be here till the last of it, till the end. But time takes a toll on everything. And the older you get, the faster time goes. And you don't know when you're going to come down because so much disease and so much illness in the world, you don't know. And it all takes a little toll on you. And he says, well, I got to go.
Tilt Cove has seen its share of attention for having so few permanent residents. It's nestled under the copper-stained mountains of the Bayvert Peninsula, a constant reminder of the mine that once flourished. Don Collins remembers when the population was about 1,500, when Tilt Cove had all the amenities of a bustling young town.
A big 6-classroom school over there. There was a trailer court with 10 or 12 trailers. There was a rec center over there with 2 lanes of curling and 2 lanes of bowling and a movie theater. There was a hospital down the end of the pond there. You got everything you need, a big library here, Boy Scout camp, Girl Scouts. Pretty quiet. Yeah, I'm about the noisiest thing here now.
Talks over relocation have been ongoing for years, and the 4 permanent residents, siblings who married siblings, have been working to leave since 2019. In April, they found new homes to rent, and the work began.
I'd rather be here. I'm going to be here all summer long. As long as the road is good and I'm healthy, I'll be here summertime. I mean, everything I worked all my life for is there, right? So you don't just walk away from that.
The 2 couples will be moving a little south to Kings Point on the southwest arm of Green Bay.
And we were lucky enough to strike on the place that we did get, and well, I got another brother-in-law that's coming home and sister, and they're coming home to live in Kings Point, so that way we'd still be together.
Collins doesn't regret the move, but he does second-guess himself at times. Winters were getting hard, and health services are minimal.
Every now and then some memory will come along, and say, well, there's another one left behind, right? When I came in, there was a lot of people there now, and all my family is up on the hill. Yeah, there's more people on the other side of the fence now than what's on this side. I want to be here. This is where my ashes is going to come here. This is where I want to die. I said to the missus, if I get sick, if you can get me to tackle before I die, I'll die happy, man.
It may be so long for now, but it'll never be goodbye for Don Collins. This town is where his story is. It's where his roots are. It's where he raised his family and laid other family members to rest. And this quiet and solitude here today is something that he says he'll continue to revisit time and time again, as long as he is able. Troy Turner, CBC News, Tilt Cove.
Now to some politics. Results in the riding of Terra Nova, the Peninsulas, are expected this week. The recount started a week ago, and the judge is now deliberating over more than 1,000 disputed ballots. After the election, Liberal Anthony Germain edged out Conservative candidate Jonathan Rowe by just 12 votes. The margin was so narrow it triggered an automatic recount under Elections Canada guidelines. Scott Lemke is a Toronto-based lawyer who has been involved in multiple recounts. He says the number of ballots in dispute is significant, but Lemke is also confident confident in the recount process.
It's fantastic. The time and effort that council, election officials, and the judge are giving to this recount. 1,050 disputed ballots speaks to me as overzealous scrutineers, and ideally, council would be coming back to the judge to make submissions, and a lot of those submissions would be joint submissions on ballots because, again, don't forget, council has photocopies of each disputed ballot now.
A group that represents store owners in the province says its members are happy government is canceling the controversial sugar tax. The tax added 20 cents to the cost of each liter of sugar-sweetened beverages. It was intended to discourage people from choosing unhealthy sugary drinks, but retailers say that didn't work, and the tax was expensive and complicated for businesses to implement. Jim Cormier of the Retail Council of Canada says businesses are pleased to see the tax go.
The cost up front, you had to change your online systems as well because you have to have proper pricing, and that had to be continually updated. So you basically had to come up with separate web pages just for Newfoundland and Labrador. Your financial accounting systems had to be changed up as well. So a lot of costs in the front end. Now, there will be costs to take them off, but from what our members are saying, they're very happy that this change will be made, and we'll be able to harmonize going forward. And it's often easier and cheaper to tear things down than it is to build up an entire system just for one small province.
Cormier also feels the tax didn't change consumer behavior because people didn't always know they were paying more for sugary drinks. We'll hear more from Cormier tomorrow evening on Here and Now. Well, the Victoria Day long weekend marks the unofficial start to summer across the province as many parks begin to see the campers and RVs start to roll in. Troy Turner has more from Mint Brook.
No snow here. Sunshine and warm weather helped kick off the start of the season. And the owners at Mint Brook RV Park and Campground couldn't be happier.
Oh, it was perfect. We had lobsters delivered on Saturday, so everyone enjoyed that with a barbecue. But everyone was out by their fire and enjoyed it.
Samantha Lane bought the former church camp in 2017 and is keeping the summer spirit alive.
It was an Anglican church camp, and CLB came here too. They used to always come here every summer, and they had all their flags and everything on the lawn. And that's all that was here too when we bought it. And I like to hear people's stories when they come and say, I was a little boy and out in the swimming area. And I just like it.
We look forward every year to seeing the same people back, and we look forward to seeing new seasonal campers as well as overnighters. Yeah, it's great.
Violet and Loyola Kelly have set up camp here at Mint Brook and plan to be here all summer long.
It's being out in nature. You can have a little pit fire if the weather permits. You can go in and lay down and sleep all day, or you can get up and play some games. Perfect here. And now we're both retired, and that makes it even better.
Kelly says it's more than just a campground.
This is home. This is where the cooking and the cleaning and the baking bread and everything else will happen. I'll be here till they either kick me out or I drop down when somebody else wants me. But no, this is where I'm going to be staying.
I think they just like family time and friends around the fire. But there is a lot of history here too. There's a lot of memories.
With expansion plans in the works, the owners here at Mint Brook RV Park and Campground hope to offer this same experience for even more users in the future, with the hopes each will bring their own story as to why this place is special to them. Troy Turner, CBC News, Mint Brook.
Crazy ones, I just followed.
Well, O'Brien's Farm in St. John's hosted a free family event on Saturday called Sheep to Stocks. Heritage NL, in partnership with Nonia and local sheep producers, let the public get up close for some sheep shearing, wool weaving, spinning, and knitting, all to learn how textiles are made.
and it was a great weekend for it. Things have changed now. Northerly flow moving in. Temperatures only in the single digits, but you get away from that onshore flow. Temperatures well into the teens today. Double digits in Happy Valley Goose Bay as well. But as we head through the next little bit, we've definitely got that northerly flow sticking around. The rain will continue as well. We've got some flurries in the mix for Labrador. I'll get into all of that coming up a little.
Well, what a wonderful long weekend for being outdoors. It was just, I'm sure all the campers out there are very pleased.
Very happy. Temperatures in the 20s in some cases, plenty of sunshine.
No snow.
No snow. No. But things are going to change as we head through the next little bit because we have some northerly flow to deal with. And I wanted to share this photo with all of you. I thought this was really cool, and I'm sure most of you saw it in the metro area anyway. So the clouds looking a little bit like waves this morning. Definitely some unsettled conditions for sure. Yeah, this is what they look like. So I thought Julie shared this photo with us, so I thought I'd share it with you. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, basically what happened is over the weekend we saw the wind shift to more northerly flow, and that brought in some much cooler air and an area of low pressure well to our southeast really is sparking even some lightning over the ocean. That is not going to make its way our way, but we are seeing some showers and periods of rain along southern areas of the island. And then we've got a front that is bringing some unsettled weather up across Labrador as well. If we take a look at the temperatures, you can see the difference. So reaching about 9 degrees in Bonavista, you head towards Terra Nova, Gander, even Grand Falls, Windsor. Temperatures between 14 to 16 degrees today. And then up across Labrador, coastal areas in the single digits, but Happy Valley Goose Bay sitting around 10. And as far as that rain goes, most of it, at least the heavier showers now for the Avalon and then southern areas of the island. You can see that lightning showing up there, but it won't make its way towards anywhere along southern areas of the island. That should stay well offshore, but we will continue to see those periods of rain through tonight, along with that northerly flow, so expect some drizzle possible along the northeast coast. That will be the case up through Grand Fall, the northern peninsula, and then coastal areas of Labrador as well. This is where particularly the north coast and then Lab West, we could even see the potential for some flurries in the mix just because temperatures are much cooler. And then as we head into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow, there's a chance through areas of central we could even see some wet snow in the mix there as well. So definitely keep that in mind. Overall, nothing significant by any means, but that northerly flow definitely will keep those temperatures cooler. And that will be the case along coastal areas of Labrador as well through the overnight and into early Wednesday morning for most. So temperatures tonight will stay above zero for the island, 2 to 4 degrees. Those northerly winds will be gusting potentially upwards of about 40 kilometers per hour for those of you on the west coast. And then across Labrador, 0 degrees in Lab City. Towards the coast, so temperatures will be sitting around +2. Into tomorrow, most of us in onshore flow will be seeing those temperatures in the single digits. Now away from that, along the west coast and south coast of the island, those temperatures will be a little warmer, between 10 to 15 degrees, and even the chance of a few peaks of sun there in the mix. But again, a little breezy for those of you in the west where you're looking at those gusts upwards of about 50 kilometers per hour. Again, very similar to today where we're seeing single digits but double digits around the Happy Valley Goose Bay area. You should reach about 10 degrees, and again, northeasterlies will be gusting somewhere between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Now, most of this week we're in onshore flow, so that is going to keep those temperatures cool all along the coast, 4, 5, 6 degrees. Away from that, you'll be sitting between 11 to 13 degrees. And basically that's the case for Labrador as well, back up to the double digits in Lab City, although you may see a few flurries to start the day, but there will be clearing into the afternoon. Long-range forecast showing potentially a bit of sun late day on Friday for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland. Double digits, though, by the time we get into Saturday again, although it does look like we'll see some periods of rain. So definitely an unsettled unsettled week, but this is good. We need this rain for sure. And then for Central, you're looking at reaching the teens by the time we get into Friday, Western Newfoundland as well, and then Labrador. Overall, you're looking at your temperatures in the teens with some sunshine. Same thing for Western Labrador. And overall, your daytime highs between 13 to 15 degrees, so a pretty decent stretch of weather there. Our weather photo of the day taken in Deer Park. Great shot of some more clouds. These ones also cumulus. Thank you so much for that photo. If you have any weather photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Well, a Mexican Marine and cadet are dead after Saturday night's collision of a tall ship with the Brooklyn Bridge. The Mexican vessel, built in 1981, was in New York on a global goodwill tour. New York police say mechanical problems likely caused the accident. At least 17 people on board were injured. 2 remain in critical condition. The bridge was not damaged. The Mexican Navy and the U.S. Transportation Safety Board have both launched investigations. Well, Donald Trump says a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin went very well and says Moscow and Kyiv will begin ceasefire negotiations immediately.
We just spent 2.5 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and I think some progress has been made. It's a terrible situation going on over there. 5,000 young people every single week are being killed. So hopefully we did something.
Trump says conditions for peace will be negotiated between the two warring countries. He said the Vatican has expressed interest in hosting those discussions. Putin said Russia was ready to continue talks, but there was no major breakthrough. The U.S. president has repeatedly promised he'd bring an end to the war started by Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. And former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that spread to his bones.
Cancer is not curable. There's no treatment available that can cure the cancer. There's definitely treatment available that can control the cancer, really good treatment to control the cancer.
A statement from Biden's office says he and his family are meeting with doctors and reviewing multiple treatment options. The former president received the news Friday. Well wishes have been pouring in across party lines for the 82-year-old. Biden posted about his cancer diagnosis on social media and has expressed thanks for the love and support he's received. Well, that's it for us on this holiday Monday. A 30-minute show goes by very, very quickly. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. We will return back to our regular 1-hour show tomorrow, and we hope you can join us again then.
Good night.